What's up, guys? Main Man Sui here, hoping you're all doing awesome. Oh, Mailman Sui. I'm sorry, I'm not Main Man today. Wrong character. This is, of course, the second channel where I get to yap a little bit more, and it's unedited, so no cool inch or anything, but hopefully you guys like the videos anyway. I'm having fun with it, though. You know, I can do whatever I want and upload whenever I want, and I can talk for 5 hours, and my editor doesn't have to go through all of that, so it's super nice for me, at least. And I think today's topic for a video is really interesting. I've certainly never done it before. What if we combine all of the Tekken games together and make a tier list? And I'm not gonna, you know, do all of the characters. It's literally impossible. So what I'm going to do is, like, I'm gonna give you a few examples of, like, what were the most shit characters of all time in Tekken games. Like, pretty much unplayable. They are so weak. There are even examples of characters where the hitboxes almost don't work at all. The attacks won't connect, like Prototype Jack in Tag 1. And then you have, like, Omega Broken, like characters where there's not even a sign or a shred of balancing at play. They are just, they completely violate and grape Tekken in the games they're in. They are beyond anything you've ever seen. It is downright unplayable to go up against them. And then just to give you a quick rundown. So, like, C is, like, unplayable. B is sort of like low tier. A is going to be, like, strong but not top tier. And then S is going to be top tier. These are the strongest characters in their respective game, right? SS tier is gonna be when it starts getting batshit crazy, like this character's like undisputed top 1 in the game he or she is in. And then you have, like, Omega Broken, as I said, where it's like there's no balancing at play. These are like boss characters, right? So I'm just gonna get going with this, and the first character I want to talk about is Akuma. I think Akuma is... I mean, it's funny how he's not a Tekken character, right? He's from Street Fighter. But it's ironic how that works. Like, you bring a character from Street Fighter into Tekken, and suddenly it just doesn't work anymore. Nothing works as it should, because he brings his mechanics with him, you know, like special cancel, EX, where he goes invulnerable. When he teleports, he's phasing. He has a 2D jump, but it just doesn't work in a game that doesn't have anti-airs. He just jumps over the neutral and then def combos you. And it's hard to quantify that in terms of strength and what it does to a game like Tekken. And of course, having a low with meter, you know, that's like unseeable 15 frames. It's basically a low poke that kills you on hit. Can do that, because he gets a full combo for a bazillion damage. His damage alone is just the craziest you've ever seen, basically. But, you know, a low poke that kills you and is +7 on block. What are you supposed to do here exactly? And then he launches you from a jab, a dick jab, launching G-Clef with meter. Even outside of meter, he has great pokes, great counter hit launchers, amazing power crushes, unblockables. With the focus attack. He has great homing. He can demon flip into homing. I mean, it's for all intents and purposes, this is the strongest character ever, and he can zone with Hadoukens. So, you know, there are other examples of characters, you know, like Tekken 5 Steve. That's basically also a boss character, but yeah, for me at least, Akuma is going to be the most broken character of all time, because while there are other insane characters that I'm gonna get into, it's like, it's impossible to put a maximum, not skill cap, but like strength cap, power cap on Akuma, because there's unlimited potential to the character as far as I'm concerned, with the 2D jump, with 10-frame launchers even from crouch, and with the special cancel that made down 2 or down 1-2 such broken keep out buttons, because he's spamming a dick jab like this. If it whiffs, he's fine. If that ever connects on you, like you press into it, Itatsu launches you, or DP launches you, because he's mashing down 2 and Tatsu or DP. And if it whiffs, the Tatsu never comes out. But as soon as it counter hits you, Tatsu. And it's just, there's so many other things we could say about his tech traps as well. Or at the wall, how the Tatsu could like resplat you over and over, almost indefinitely sometimes. He also had like a wall combo they never patched out of the game, where he splats you on the wall, and then he does a while running free that slams you into the ground, and then he gets down free DP, and it resets you, throws you onto the wall, and he gets a normal wall combo. Now the dumbest character ever, and it's like you're pressuring him. It doesn't matter what you're pressuring him with. You can even pressure him with stuff that jails on block, and he can one frame DP out of it with his EXDP. He didn't have to respect anything. I think even his normal DP had some invulnerability to it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it did. So, yeah, I think pound for pound, he's probably the dumbest character ever to be in a Tekken game, and he's not even a Tekken character. You gotta love that. So the second character I'm gonna talk about is Steve Fox in Tekken 5. I'm sure you've heard about him. He's kind of legendary at this point. So this is not Tekken 5 DR Steve, where he's still top tier, but you know, they really reworked the character. So this is the PlayStation 2 original Tekken 5. And you know, a lot of people think characters are broken in Tekken 8. You know, everyone is so OP. Tekken 5 is like 3 times that level of OP. If you don't believe me, Kazuya is not a very notable character in Tekken 5. He has a safe down for 2, down back 4, his key low, safe, +7 on hit. His forward 4, geesh, hits you crouching, launches you for 70% of your health bar. His flash punch wall splats. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. And he's not that good. This guy in Tekken 5 gets one sidestep on you, you're dead. Round is over. So that's his legendary infinite. So you know how in Tekken 8 or in any Tekken game with Kazuya where he has his string down for 3-2-1, he got it in Tekken 6. So he does a knee into a mid gut punch into patricide fist. If this counter hits the third hit, you know how you're thrown into a stun stagger state forever, and it throws you several meters away, like 3 meters back, but you are so heavily stunned that Kazuya has time to run in and launch you with an electric, with some timing. This same stagger state and stun was on Steve's weave. You press left kick, he weaves to the left, and then 1-1. Double mid. When that clipped you, and from the side it was natural, but when that clipped you, the exact same stun stagger, like, except you were not thrown 3 meters away. You stayed pretty much put where you were, and now what could Steve do? Weave 1-1. Just, again, it's a true link combo. It just resets into the same stagger and stagger and stagger until you died. Infinite. And of course, he would get a tremendous sidestep from the fact that sidesteps in general in Tekken 5 were very strong, and movement in general. So what they did, Steve players, was they did manual step into weave, which for all intents and purposes was like a mega sidestep. It combined them both. So step, weave, 1-1. Step, weave, 1-1. So basically, he has an omega sidestep. And if you ever whiffed 1-1 and now the round was over, you could put down your controller, go do something else because, you know, the KO was inevitable. You were dead. This was obviously so strong that he was actually banned at a couple of events. That happens very rarely with Tekken characters, you know, Tekken tournaments. But, you know, an infinite is pushing things, even for broken Tekken 5 standards. But the funny thing is, even if you look beyond that infinite, you remove that infinite from Steve in Tekken 5, he's still pretty much the best character in the game. Because he has a universal down for 2. This might sound unbelievable because you're so accustomed to Steve's modern down for 2. But in Tekken 5, Already in Tekken 6, he gets the down for 2 he has now. But in Tekken 5, he has a universal down for 2. -7 on block. Long range mid launcher. Tracks well to both sides and launches crouchers. Like, it's just, it's so ridiculous. And you know his back one? It's still a 13 frame counter hit launcher, right? But on normal hit in Tekken 5, it's so plus on hit that he gets guaranteed flicker 2, which is flicker back 2 now, I think. For huge, it's almost like a death fist. It knocks him into the ground, and he gets a guaranteed down +2 low punch. And this is like 40% of your health bar on normal hit. And then he can do like 1-1 flicker into Albatross 2. Nothing you can do about the string. Everything is safe. Albatross 2 counter hit launches. And pretty much everything counter hit launches on him. And his damage is so ridiculously high in this game. Yeah, it's just there's nothing you can do. Steve wins. Even outside of the infinite, he wins. Sorry, I see we have a dirty chat on there. I'm gonna remove a chat. But so those are gonna be the 2 first characters on this list. And then we're gonna... I guess I'm just gonna keep going with the Omega guys, and then we work our way down. So the next character I'm going to talk about... See, like so. Maybe you don't recognize this guy, but this is Tekken 1 King. I'm just gonna make sure everything is correct. My recording is still going. Thank God. Sometimes it crashes. So this is Tekken 1 King, and you might already know why he is on this list. He has a very strong poke in Tekken 1, which is his down forward 1, which looks the exact same today. It's the same move. He just doesn't have a follow-up in Tekken 1. Like, now you can do down forward 1, 2. So in Tekken 1, it's just down forward 1. On normal hit, it gives some damage, it knocks the opponent back a little bit, and it gives King like +6 or something. It's not that crazy. The crazy part about his down forward 1 is that on block, it's +93. So this is a very, you know, at +93, you can sort of do whatever you want. Like, it hits so heavy on the guard, it's basically like what we talked about before, like Kazuya or Steve, you know, weave, and it's like, stun state. So his down forward 1, his key poke, 13 frames, on block. So this is not on hit. On hit, it's like, whatever. But if you block it, I mean, basically, it's kind of funny. Like on hit, a boo-boo. But on block, holy shit, you feel the impact of his down forward 1. So it's +93, and you're in a stun stagger where you can't block, and any hits that come in on you on this block state launch you. So on block, it's basically a launcher on block. It's really funny how that works and how that sounds. Like +93, and you're in a launchable stun state, stagger state. So basically, after that, he gets a huge combo that does like 60% at least. So that's very, very, very strong. And then he has like, you know, Giant Swing is froze can't be broken. So Giant Swing cannot be broken, and it does like 70%. So Tekken 1 King is no joke. I just don't know, like, if he went up against these characters, like, obviously he has no homing. So Steve could step the down forward 1 and just 1-1 and just shatter King's dreams, right? The poor orphans, man. And then Akuma could probably jump over the down forward 1 or step the down forward 1. So here, you know, the battle of the gods here. I don't know how King would do, but the thing is, if they block down forward 1s, like they're dead. And it's a good poke. It's a good poke. So yeah, in terms of Omega broken, I think like Tekken 1 King, he certainly hits the list. And now we're, again, I'm just gonna give a few examples per tier, because otherwise, you know, if we go all characters, we're gonna sit here all day. So I'm just gonna give you one final character for Omega Broken. And of course, we're gonna talk a little bit about, it's gonna be Tekken 4 Jin. Oh, sorry, can we get this right? There we go. So, Tekken 4 Jin is also like a legendary character in terms of his strength levels. A lot of things can be said about him, but like with a lot of these characters, there's always that one move that just obliterates everyone. And with him, it was a move called Just Frame Laser Scraper, JFLS. So you know how he does back for 2-1-2, you know, like Devil Jin, or like Jin now in Tekken 8, back for 2-1-2. In Tekken 4, he can push down 2 in the end, and he still does an uppercut thingy like Devil Jin does. This one, and that would launch, right? But this one, you could hold to make it unblockable. So he would do back for 2-1, down 2, hold, and he goes, and he starts getting blue sparks on his arm, and then he goes, boom, and it's an unblockable launch, and you're like, holy shit, this is very strong. But, you know, he has to hold for a long time, right? Right? Well, no. The players quickly found that you could do a perfect charge. That's why it was called Just Frame Laser Scraper. So you start holding that down too, and then you can let go on the exact frame he gets the first blue spark, like this, pew, on the arm, let go there, and he will immediately do the unblockable version. And this is, of course, very fast, and it's an unblockable launch. So the thing that happened now was that Jin, if you block back for 2-1, and you just stand guard, you will get launched by the Just Frame Laser Scraper, right? Kaboom. But there's not a whole lot you can do. The only thing you can do to get out of this is try and jab him or try and step. But the thing is, now they could mix with the normal Laser Scraper, where they do back for 2-1 and then just down 2. And now if you try to jab or step, you got launched. So all Jins had to do in Tekken 4 was just mind game with back for 2-1, down 2. Back, or Just Frame Laser Scraper. And there was like nothing you could do. Just straight up nothing you could do. And then also like 2-1 is hilariously stupid. 2-1-4, his Hell Sweep, but it doesn't technically launch, but he does sweep into guaranteed follow-up. He flips onto them for like 35 damage or something. That Hell Sweep is minus 12 on block in this game. It doesn't stagger. It's minus 12 on block. And then he has very strong combos in general, very strong everything. But it basically boils down to Just Frame Laser Scraper being so unbelievably stupid. But so this, for me, are like the Omega Broken Gods. And then you could have some like honorable mentions like Devil, I think, in Tag 1. Like, Tag 1 has a lot of broken shit, but Devil, he basically just rotates a standing twin piston down for the 1-2 that's safe on block and launches. Down for the 1-2, down for the 1-2. He just spams that, or he mixes you with a Hell Sweep. And yeah, it's not super fun, right? So that's an honorable mention. Maybe you can mention Tekken 2 Kazuya, you know. Also, he's the only character in Tekken 2 that can sidestep. But he also has standing twin piston. His Demon God Fist, he gets like a perfect, like, it's not a perfect electric, but if a Demon God Fist is like a Death Fist that does half your health bar, and then you can do Wind God Fist from it into Death combo. So he also has the Hell Sweep knockdown, like, very, very strong. But, you know, those are some examples. I don't want to talk about, like, Launch Leroy and Launch Vacuum Ram, because those characters were patched out, whereas these characters still exist, right? So that's more interesting. Like, you know, we're still playable, right? That's more interesting to me. So that's going to be it for Omega Broken. Now we're going to get into the SS tier, and these are characters that are not like Omega Broken, but they're like undisputed top ones in their game. So some people will refer to them as Omega Broken. And these characters, quite a few of these were actually playable as well in like esports competition, which made it worse, right? And they were seen as broken in their day. It's just that these characters, like, you know, they break the universe. Let's see. So first one I'm gonna talk about, it's going to be Tekken 5. So now we're not on Tekken 5 itself, but this is Tekken 5 DR. So this is Dark Resurrection. And this was quite a popular, actually, tournament game, right? I mean, it was nothing like Tekken 7 and Tekken 8, but still, you know, pretty respectable pro scene with Tekken 5 DR. And there you had cooldowns on Devil Jin. And Devil Jin in Tekken 5 DR, you know, there are other characters that are very strong, like Brian, Heihachi, Feng Wei, Steve. Marduk even is also very strong in that game. But Devil Jin is, he's a joke, and he is the strongest Mishima. The things he does, so while standing 2 launches you for half your health bar at least. Hell Sweep launches you for half your health bar at least. Laser Cannon is insane. Down for the 1-2 is insane. His throw, it's like Inferno Laser. What is it called? You know, the 1+2 throw, where he throws you into the air and lasers you, right? That throw in Tekken 5 DR, it comes out as fast as a giant swing, 10 frames, and, you know, like 15 frame break windows. It's so hard to break that throw in that game. And out in the open, it does tremendous damage, and they fall down next to Devil Jin, and he gets a guaranteed down back 2 for even more damage. At the wall, they fall down at his feet, and he gets a can for free for huge fucking damage. And then he has the normal stuff like, you know, 1-1-2, wall splat, flash punch, confirmable, of course. His demon poise insane. It's just basically an unstoppable character if the player is strong enough. He was just so ridiculously strong, but fun to play. He had one of the best wall combos as well, and he would do 1-2 can. It was very reliable and just massive damage. So he's gonna be the first like undisputed top 1. And then we are going to go to let's see. So now it's gonna be, oh no. Wait, what is happening? My bad. Here we go. So now it's Mr. Bob, Mr. Cheeseburger, and he's soon going to be in Tekken 8, right? He's part of Season 3 crew. Bob in Tekken 6. And Tekken 6 in general was the first time they really started dumbing down, not dumbing down the core mechanics of Tekken, but it's like adding in what I like to refer to as brain-dead scrub characters. Characters that are very easy and obscenely strong, and they do like everything. And Bob was sort of a poster child for this, and then you had, in the same game, you had Alisa, you had Lars, and there were a lot of criticism levied at Tekken here. It's like, you're making the game too anime. Lars and Alisa, bzz, bzz, woo, woo, flying around the screen, and mashing strings and stances, like, and they're so easy, they're so strong. All the criticism you've heard with Tekken 8, like this goes a long way back in time, a long way back. You gotta understand, this was already in 2007 these characters were introduced. So for 20 years, you've heard the player base go, it's too anime, it's too easy, it's too cheap, it's too strong. It's always been the same echo chamber, you know, always the same. But Bob was the first, you know, Leroy style character. You know what? There's been Jinpachi. There's been so many of these. But so basically, what was Bob? Unbelievably all round. Like best strings, best pokes, best counter hits, best wave dash, best 50-50, best Mishima. I'm not joking. Like in Tekken 6, he had the best electric in CD1. He had the best hell sweep. It had more range than Mishima hell sweeps, did more damage, and it was like almost homing. I'm not joking. And then he had great mid launchers to mix, so to 50-50 with. He had amazing evasion, even though he's a fat guy, but that was the joke. Like, look how quick on the feet he is. He can do flips while he's so fat. He had a very good unblockable that he could tech trap with. His wall combo was broken. Everything was broken. He did and very long range jab, an amazing punishment. Everything was god tier. He had no drawbacks. And that's why at Evo, there were like 4 Bobs, I think, in a top 8. Like, Bob was everywhere. And Bob actually allowed a lot of US pros to compete against the Koreans and Japanese players who back then were much, much better than we are now. EU and US really sucked back then. We were not good. But Bob allowed a lot of US players to compete with the Koreans and Japanese players. So undisputed top 1 in his game and super dumb. So I wanted an interesting character for the last pick here, and you know, might be a bit like, oh really? Because she was not the undisputed top 1. But I do want to add Kuni from Tekken 7. So again, like Kuni, she was not the undisputed top 1. So already I'm violating my own tier list, right? She was not top 1. He was. But this serves as also a point on like how unbelievably poor the balancing is in Tekken 7. Like the worst character, and we're gonna get into him, is almost unplayable, and the best character is like the strongest character you've ever seen in a Tekken game. But Kuni was not a 2D character. Well, you know, she had some 2D mechanics. But she was more of a conventional Tekken character, but like the best. If you remove Akuma and Geese, but you could argue she was stronger than Geese, I think. But you remove Akuma and she's like the strongest character in the game. I have a video upcoming on her on the main channel, Main Man Sui. But it's pretty much like Bob, but it's like certain moves are just like holy shit. Like her kunai or shuriken toss, where you know it's a Hadouken, like quarter circle forward 1, but it's like Luke in Street Fighter, where it travels the screen almost instantly. It's so fast, and it transitions into a throw sequence that does like 30 damage. It's like, and if she throws it from far away, it's completely safe. It's actually completely safe. So already you're like, what is this doing in the game? So she could whiff punish with this from any range, or threaten you with this from any range. And then she has like full screen, like slide or mid, both are counter hit launchers. Forward 3-2, it's a full screen 12 frame mid counter hit launcher that's safe on block, but of course wall splats, it's plus 10 on hit. She's got a G clef. She's got the dumbest strings you've ever seen in 2-2. 2-2-2 Phoenix Shift. You know what Clive does now? It origined with her, but better strings. Down forward 1-2-2 is a 13 frame startup. A countered string for 1 million damage. Confirmable. She has down back 2/4/2, which is a perfect string. Mid, safe, natural for huge damage. Can do a third hit. Down back 2/4/2. And she threatens you with a third hit. And it's safe. And the initial 2 hits are safe and they're natural. I don't know who designed that string, but it just boggles the mind. Insane 50/50s with her full crouch mix. And the best movement you've ever seen. And one of the best down for 2s you've ever seen. And also, half the things she does are weapon strikes that cannot be parried or sabakied. Or low parried. Strong unblockables, strong evasion, strong Yoshi bullshit. They were like, no downsides to this character. Just hilariously OP, DLC power creep like none other. So yeah, just unbelievably stupid. So that's gonna round out that tier. And now we're gonna go to like S tier, and this is gonna be top tier, like very strong, right? Like, so very strong characters. And now I wanna go to a different Tekken game, and we can talk about there we go. We're gonna do Tekken 8 Nina. So Tekken 8 Nina is a character that's always dodging nerfs. They try to nerf her, but they never do anywhere close to enough. And this is a character where you might say like, well, oh my god, she's so OP, she should be here. It's like, that tells you a bit about Tekken 8 right now. After so many patches, it's starting to turn into something closing in on balanced, right? It's like, tells you a lot about Tekken 7, it tells you about Tekken 6, Tekken 5DR. It's fun. Like Tekken, the problem with Tekken 8 has always been more so like the core mechanics of the game, how they designed the game, especially Heat, right? And how the movement has worked, rather than the balancing itself. Because the reality of Tekken 8, even early Tekken 8, before all of the patches, was that if everyone is broken, is there really such a thing as a broken character, right? Or someone being super overpowered above everyone else? But it obviously had problems like that. But again, you think of Steve, and like Tekken 5, everyone is super broken. I told you about Kazuya, but still, like, he was so above, right? But so Tekken 8, after all of the patches, Nina is starting to become a balanced character, but she still has so much dumb shit. But clearly top tier. Best poking in the game. Down for the 1-2 is still a joke. Can go into, has follow-ups, has a counter at launching. Down for the 1-2-4, that's safe on block. Down for the 1-2 can go into her bitch step, where she crouches forward, where she can do pretty much whatever the fuck she wants. Very all-round character, has fantastic counter hit launchers, has fantastic lows and down back 3, down 2, has a down forward 2, has very strong homing, has, even though it's been nerfed, back to 2, 12 frame homing, high, has a third hit that counter hit knocks down into follow-up, used to be a launcher. This is a natural string on counter hit, wall splats for 50 damage. Her combos are very strong. She has strong 50/50 with wipe the floor. She has strong punishment. Her glocks are still obscene. Catches you from a sidestep. She does an infinite string. Gish, 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 gish. Glock, 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 glock. Into wall combo, or wall explosion, stage hazard. Her 13 frame punish in Heat. While stunning 1, glock, 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 wall splats. Still, even though it's nerfed, it's still wall splats from, like, what, 4 meters? Does insane damage into stage hazard. She has so many ways of removing recoverable health. Her throws are extremely strong, has chain throws. I think there are no downsides to this character still, and I think she's been evading nerfs for way too long, has always been top tier. Devil Jin used to be the poster child for I'm always top tier, and he was for like 20 years, literally 20 years he was top tier, and then they started cutting him down. And he honestly went from like almost like always top 1, top 5 to like bottom 1. But she is now the poster child for, you know, just never nerfed enough. Never nerfed enough. So yeah, Nina is gonna go into S tier, Tekken 8 Nina. And now to shake things up a little bit, we're gonna jump game again. And now we are at Tekken Tag 2 Jinpachi. So this is a character that was top tier in Tag 2. A Mishima, but sort of a pseudo Mishima. You know how Kazumi is a pseudo Mishima in Tekken 7 as she doesn't have an electric? This guy was the pseudo Mishima of Tag 2. As Flash Punch, he would do 1-2 that wall splatted for a lot of damage. Akuma sort of inherited this move. And then for Electric, it was called Wind God Fist in his move list. But basically, he just presses down for a 2, and he gets a 14 frame Wind God Fist that launches. So there's no execution. So anytime you're minus 14, you will get launched. And in terms of whiff punish, you know, whiff anything, down for 2, it's just always 14 frames, right? But it was quite a bit minus on block. I think it was minus 12, minus 13. I don't remember exactly, but you would never have this blocked if you used it properly. So this was insanely strong. It also had a follow-up where he did like a twin piston sequence. So he would do Wind God Fist into a huge uppercut. This one, if you had it blocked, the second one I think was launch punishable. But again, so if you had the first one blocked, there was still the threat of a follow-up attack. This one would wall splat and would not launch. But he could do this to launch you super high, though. If you did like, if the first hit, like down for 2, down for 1, you went super high in the air. Did a lot of damage, an unbelievably damaging character in general, and very scrubby compared to a generic Mishima. Very scrubby, super high damage, very evasive, strong poking, strong, a million lows, huge kit of lows, a million mids. Everything has utility, everything is very strong. The only downside is that he's a little bit clunky, a little bit slow to get going on a lot of attacks, but once he gets going, if he starts a blender on you and steamrolls you, you are dead in a second. If he has rage and he hits you like 3 times, you are almost KO'd. You are almost dead. He hits so fucking hard. And he has multiple stances, even as a Kempo. Back 3-4, it just zooms back very quickly. It almost resembles Outfox from Tekken 8 Steve. And there he has a Kempo 2 that knocks you down into a guaranteed stomp, a million damage. And it's so cheap. It's so cheap. But, you know, has the Heihachi 1 back 2, has down to 1 string that's mid. That's only like minus 10 on block, I think. Mid, natural, huge damage. Second hit is a counter hit launcher for a million damage. He had like a jumping knee, up 4, safe on block. If it hits, he gets a guaranteed stomp, a million damage. He has a full crouch mix where he's crouching. He has like very powerful lows to tag you with. Mixes that with a launcher, or he does his knee from crouch. But just very scrubby, very all-round. But down for 2 alone is a joke. Unbelievably damaging. Super high damage combos that are very easy, huge wall travel. It's like there were really no downsides to Jinpachi. Just probably the strongest pseudo Mishima character ever, I think. But a lot of fun to play and synergized really well with Kazuya. So, you know, there was fun to be had. Wait, what is going on here? Oh, 1 second, boys. I'm trying to get a good photo here, but it's almost like fucking impossible. So this is gonna be super low res. It's a shit tier list anyway. I mean, you're on Mailman Sui. I just don't give a shit. You can almost see her, but it's Christy. Also from this game, from Tag 2. Note that this character is so broken that could probably go up here. But at the highest level of play, offline, there was counterplay to this character. You know what I'm gonna do? It's probably... I think I'm gonna try and put her here, though, because her and Eddie are the dumbest examples of balancing, I think, in Tag 2. So we're gonna do this. There we go. So Christy in Tag 2 and Eddie, they're very well known for their back 1-4. They press back 1-4, and it's a mid string that is safe on block. There is some counterplay here, but it's not that big, right? But if this counter hits, they can confirm into 3-4, and now it's a natural string on counter hit, and this kills you. So imagine, if you will, Kazuya's Abolishing Fist, down for to counter it, perfect electric launch. You know how damaging this is. Imagine this sequence, but if there's no execution, and it does even more damage. Well, I guess that's it. No execution, no damage. And it's a bit safer, because Kazuya's down for 2 is -12 on block. And the back 1-4 has a follow-up. They can do multiple follow-ups. They can do back 1-4 free. They can do back 1-4 and commit to the sweeps anyway. They can do back 1-4 into a handstand mix-ups. The counterplay there was to back 1-4, if someone was spamming it, was that you could actually step between the hits. So back 1-4, you do a step right, and now you can float them for a combo. So this obviously applies to the highest level if someone is spamming that, because it's very strict to do. But also, the problem was that we played this game online. That's what we did. And with the netcode of that game, you couldn't step the back 1-4. So in the online environment, this character was here. So I'm putting this character here because of we gotta talk about like the offline scene and the pro scene, right? But still, unbelievably stupid characters that were a plague on everyone when we played this game. And there were a lot of other strong things, but it basically boiled down to the back 1-4. And now we're on A tier. And now it's not as dramatic, right? So this one we're gonna do pretty quickly. I think this guy serves as a good example of like strong but not broken. And there's also a fun conversation to be had about. So this is Tekken 7 Paul. There's a fun conversation to be had about this character because he had quite the journey, you know, in Tekken 7. So when the game releases, he's a contender for like top tier. Obviously, no one could ever touch like Akuma, but on release, like holy shit, he was so strong. Like his 12 frame punish, back 1-2, knocked them down. Where if he stayed on the ground, they ate down back 2, his Oki pancake flip, and if he tried to get up, Death Fist would connect and like almost fucking kill you. So his 12 frame was insane. I believe at the wall, it could even from the side, like gish, they fall down and you could float people into combo. His Death Fist did 1,000,000 damage. It did more damage than it does currently in Tekken 7. It does more than Tekken 8. His Corsica back 4 homing countered launcher did more damage, and it was +3 on block. It's now like +1. His down back 2 was killed you on counter hit. He could do combos where if Corsica back 4 counter it and down back 2 counter it, would set up combos so that when he comboed you from the side, he could do the most obscene stuff where, you know, he did a Death Fist mid combo after a bound from the side, and you would roll in a way so that he could get a guaranteed forward 4 on you, like just to extend combos. He could. Oh, sorry, I'm getting away. I'm getting carried away, but it's interesting. Like, you know his Rage Art cancel in Tekken 7 where he does Rage Art, like kaboom, it throws him high in the air, and he cancels Rage Art, and now he does a super big combo on you for 1,000,000,000 damage. This would do more damage on launch, and he could step to the right, do a Death Fist, and now it's like already half your health bar, and now due to that same roll animation, he does forward 4 into while standing 3-2, and it bounds, and it's all a combo. And now he does another Death Fist, and it guarantees another Trooper roll, forward 4, and now you're dead. Literally a death combo. He had multiple death combos. So, super busted. And then they give him a lot of nerfs. They nerf a lot of the countered launchers, the frames, the launch itself. They remove Death Fist into follow-up in combos. They nerf the damage of a Death Fist. They nerf back 1-2. Doesn't knock down anymore. They nerf the Rage Art cancel. They reduce the damage on that as well. They give him a fuck ton of nerfs. But he still remains like a strong high-tier character. Was played by Ni and Kokoma quite a bit in tournaments. Still very strong, but of course not what he was on release, but very, very strong character. And he's fun to play. And then we're gonna talk about... I think it's fun to go to Tekken 6. Tekken 6 Armor King. It's a fun character to discuss. I love a resolution here, by the way. So played a lot by JDCR, of course. Was top tier due to JDCR being so dominant, but for real on paper, never that strong. Like high tier, but not top tier in my opinion. True top tiers of that game were like, you know, Brian, Jack was probably the best character. Bruce was very strong. Steve, very strong. Did I say Devil Jin? And Bob, of course. But so, Armor King was like high tier due to... He had some, you know, Dark Upper has always been strong and disgusting, and his poking, very strong movement. Dark Upper in this game gave a very interesting combo in that he got a guaranteed unblockable setup he would do a combo, bound, and then end with down for 3, the knee, that throws them up. And in this game, you would fall to the ground in a way where if you tech rolled or stayed on the ground or tried to slowly get back up to your feet, moonsault would hit no matter what. So he would just do down for 3 into moonsault and was guaranteed. And this, you know, really elevated him, right? Made him very strong. And it's funny, on Tekken 6, in Tekken 6 location test, the very first version of Armor King, his down back 3 was a natural hit launcher. It was a 23 frame startup, Snakehead. But that was very quickly patched out, as it obviously was way too strong. And then, but basically the same Armor King, you know, like down for 2, down for 2, 1, down for 1, down 4, JDC, back 4. JDCR likes to play with, you know, movement and whiff punish, poking from far away. I have long limbs, I can threaten you, you can't threaten me. And he had his throws, you know, and giant swings, so... he was a strong, fun character in Tekken 6, but not, you know, like, he was never top tier in my opinion, even though JDCR made him look top tier. But that's, you know, just JDCR. And now we're gonna go to, like, low tier stuff, which is going to be B. So now we're gonna look at low tier. And here, obviously, we wanna talk about my boy. So this is gonna be Tekken 8 Devil Jin. So Tekken 8 Devil Jin is currently he's the worst character in Tekken 8, and oh god, and I find this, it's funny because when you take into account what he has always been. This is fun and interesting to contemplate, in my opinion, because this was him ever since Tekken 3. Remember that Tekken 3 OG Jin is Devil Jin when it comes to the moveset. Not his visuals or the lore, obviously, but in terms of moveset, Devil Jin. Tekken 3, top 1. Tag 1, I mean, arguably top 1. Tekken 4, he's not there. Tekken 5, I mean, top tier. Tekken 5 DR, top 1. Tekken 6, top 5. Tekken 7, tag 2, arguably top 1. You know, top 1. Tekken 7, arguably, well, never top 1 due to Akuma, but top tier for the longest time. And then he gets power crept by DLCs, and then by season 4, 4.5, I think, now they really nerf him. It took many years into Tekken 7, but then they nerf the shit out of him, and he's low tier. But Tekken 8 marks the weakest Devil Jin has ever been. The weakest he has ever been. And this is because of his new identity they've given him, where they go like, he's gonna be Tekken 5 DR in his 50-50 blender, in that he plays around Hell Sweep and While Standing 2 to do huge damage on you. But everything else is gone. And he has evasion and he has some tricks. But everything else is gone. So he used to have very strong poking, right? But that's gone. And his counter utility is gone. He doesn't have those countered launchers anymore, and he doesn't have a poke or safe poking, strong poking. They even nerfed Samsara. It used to be a mix-up on block. It's not anymore. So, and they nerfed his heat. They nerfed heat in general in Tekken 8, but I think he was hurt the most because heat was all he had, and he lost his best heat launchers. He still has Demon Pole launch, obviously, but he lost back to 3. And crucially, he lost Morning Crow 2-2, but that was kind of cheap. But the character is just pretty undisputed bottom 1 in my opinion, because every other character has a lot of conventional Tekken. His downward 1 is too bad, in my opinion. His poking and strings are too bad. His tracking is too bad. And he relies too much. He relies 100% on his blender, and the Hell Sweep is launch punishable while sending to his -12. He is just way too unsafe. And all of his evasive stuff like Samsara, back free, it all comes with a lot of risk, and Morning Crow can be floated with jabs. Risk, 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 risk. Shackle is cool, but again, it's giga punishable if your opponent knows what we're doing. He relies a lot on his opponents not being good Tekken players, but if they are, he has nothing to threaten them with, basically. So, yeah, Tekken 8 Devil Jin. And then I'm gonna talk about another interesting character to me is this guy. Let's see. It is Tekken 7 Dragunov. Sorry if it's a lot of characters from very recent Tekken games. Well, recent, you know, Tekken 6, Tekken 7. But it's more interesting to talk about characters that you saw in an esports setting, you know. But Tekken 7 Dragunov is also interesting because early Tekken 7 he's seen as top tier because JDCR is dumbstring tournaments with him. I don't think he ever was that strong. I think it's JDCR that gave that impression because you also saw Saint with Jack dominate. It was typically in grand finals like JDCR versus Saint, but those characters were never that strong. It's just that JDCR and Saint were that strong. People couldn't keep up with them. But then a lot of other pros started gaining momentum, they got better, and then JDCR started falling off, and so did Saint, and so did these characters. But early Tekken 7, no doubt Dragunov was stronger, and a lot of people had pocket Dragunov, but with time he was nerfed quite a bit, and he was unbelievably power crept by all of the DLC characters. But also people started understanding. People didn't get it at first. Like, a lot of people called Akuma mid-tier. A lot of people called Geese mid-tier when he was released. It was evident to me with Geese that he was like god tier on release. And Akuma, like, people picked up on him after Super Akuma and Pakistan. So Dragunov never really was that strong. But then he's power crept by all of the DLC, and then people understanding how many characters in the base roster were batshit crazy. And then he's nerfed a lot, especially his While Running 2 took a lot of nerfs. But, like, it's funny, like, by the end of Tekken 7, he is seen as dog shit. Like, absolute dog shit. He has, like, nothing. While Running 2 has a very shitty hitbox. Where it's a mid, but there's a lot of moves that can go under it. It has very poor tracking. He has good movement, but all of his buttons suck ass. Back for 2 sucks. Down for 1 sucks. His down for 4 sucks. I'm trying to think of moves that are good. He is just so power crept in that game. And he had the worst wall combo. Did no damage. His combos did no damage. I'm trying to think of tools he has in Tekken 7. He's just infinitely better in Tekken 8. And the fun thing is, like, he's also a demanding character to play in Tekken 7. If you factor in the work you put in versus what you get as a reward, he's probably worse than Gigas. Because Gigas is easier to play. So it's like, you might as well call him the worst character in the game. No, he has nothing. He has nothing. So, very low tier, very shit, very bad. So, now we're gonna go into unplayable. So here I'm gonna put, and again, sorry, I know it's a lot of Tekken 7, but it's an interesting game. So here we are going to go Gigas, and I just talked about him. So again, there is an argument for, like, factoring in how difficult they are to play. He's very easy. So Dragunov, if you are If you put in the work, Dragunov was clearly better than Gigas. But for a lot of people, they could actually rank him up quite easily in that no one knew the matchup because no one played him. And if there was some ease of use and just spamming his 1-2 and Dominic 2. But on paper, he's absolutely the worst character in Tekken 7. First off, he has no movement. He can't sidestep at all. He has his hurtbox is too big. His movement was just dog shit. Everyone got infinite combos on him. On a lot of characters, it was even worse than Kuma, the things they could do to Gigas. He would just infinitely resplat on walls. His attacks were awful. He has a long-range jab, but I think his down for one is like -7 or -8 on block. With no follow-up. It just doesn't work. Every attack he does is stubby and slow and has garbage frames. Everything has garbage frames. His 1-2-10 frame is very good. Long range wall splat knockdown. It's launch punishable on block. She inherited it a little bit, Asusina, minus the range, of course. It's easier to think of things this character has. He has a long range 15 frame launcher and down 2. He doesn't have anything. He literally doesn't have anything. People losing to this, I mean, you never saw him in competitive play. And if people lost to this character, it was always due to knowledge checking, because no one ever played this character. Unbelievably useless, super slow, terrible frames, awful hurtbox, awful movement. There's just nothing to be said about this character. Dog shit. Poster boy for dog shit. But now we're gonna get into I mean, arguably the worst character ever, right? And I made a video about this guy way back, and it is Prototype Jack. So again, now it's his super cool Tag 2 skin, right? Where he is stronger than he is in Tag 1. You know, he's viable, but in Tag 1, he is probably the worst Tekken character ever, and he almost feels like an unfinished work in progress, where they just threw him in, and it was basically an intern doing the coding or game design on him. Probably the coding, because his hitboxes don't work. He can do stuff like down forward 1, or his abysmal jab where he just starts swinging like this and it's just dog shit. Everything is super slow, but there is no hitbox, so he does a down forward 1 and it can't connect on the opponent. He's standing literally in your face and it will whiff for some reason. They almost have to press into it to allow you to counter it for it to connect. And there's that systematic problem on a fuck ton of moves he has. And then all of the moves are dog shit, right? He doesn't have a jab. He doesn't have conventional Tekken buttons in general. His down for 2 also that has no hitbox. Everything is dog shit. And also, it's just exasperated in Tag 1. You know, you're a big body character, you eat death combos. This is exasperated in Tag 1, where the most god-awful things are possible. Huge combos compared to the other characters. And so there are only drawbacks to this character. Eats huge combos. The Mishimas are gods in that game. The Ogres, the Changs, Michelle and Julia. The Kickboxers, Brian and Bruce. Has no good moves. Has no conventional jabs down from 1. The hitboxes don't work, and again, it's gigantic combos. Like, it's just, if you play this game, you play Tag 1, and you play him into, like, as I mentioned, like, Devil or Jin, it's literally impossible to win. Unless your opponent is suffering from, like, brain damage, or they don't have hands, maybe. But it is literally impossible to win. So the character just doesn't work. Just doesn't work. But yes, that is the tier list I had in mind for today. These were the examples of characters I wanted to talk about. Some honorable mentions here would be like maybe Dr. B, Dr. Boskanovich from Tag 2 is dog shit. Kazuya in any game you could put here. No, I'm joking, obviously. But I think these are the most interesting examples of characters. These are very interesting standouts, in my opinion, in their games. There's obviously some other characters you can pick and choose from, but I think, at least to me, this was an interesting conversation. I hope you found it interesting as well. I think in the next video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about Tag 2 Jinpachi. I'm going to give you in-game references. We're going to be inside of Tag 2, inside of it, obviously, and we're going to show you what made him so cracked. And you can expect more revisited stuff on this channel. And of course, me talking about variety gaming as well. But I do hope you found this interesting, and I hope you have a great day. Take care, man. Take care, buddy.